The Minnesota Timberwolves just took a 3-1 lead over the Los Angeles Lakers in an instant classic game, and while the storyline is inevitably going to be Anthony Edwards becoming a super duper star in front of our eyes, or Julius Randle exercising some playoff demons, I'm really interested in Minnesota finding this insanely effective small ball lineup that they're closing out games with. In the past 2 games, both of which have gone into clutch time, the Wolves have rolled with Donte DiVincenzo, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, and Julius Randle as soon as that clock hits 5 minutes to go in the game. That means no Mike Conley at the point and no Rudy Gobert at the 5. In those 10 crunch time minutes over the past 2 games, Minnesota has outscored the Lakers 32 points to 10, and all of a sudden, Minnesota has their own version of a small ball death lineup that is not only countering LA's, it's destroying it. So there's a few things this smaller lineup allows Minnesota to do, and the most obvious is it allows them to fill the lineup with scoring and shooting threats. It means they can have their 5-man in Randle bring the ball up the floor so they can run Edwards off a screen to receive the ball. Now, it doesn't mean LA won't throw 2 bodies at Edwards or that they'll be afraid to commit more players to protect the paint, but McDaniels is a threat here that LeBron needs to contain, and Naz Reid is now a shooter who's deadly if he's left open for catch and shoot jumpers. Rudy Gobert is neither that threat in the paint or that threat to shoot, and that's given Minnesota's late game offense a whole new look without him in this series. Again, packing this lineup with scoring and shooting threats isn't going to stop the Lakers throwing 2 on the ball, and LA's scheme dictates that they load up in the paint on Edwards, but when Reid flares out now as a shooter, LeBron has to follow him. Now Minnesota has this weak side with 3 Wolves and just a single Laker in Austin Reeves, and what Donte DiVincenzo can do that Mike Conley can't is attack off the bounce, get to the rim, and finish through some contact. Now Conley and Gobert do other things and they do them well, but in winning time against this defensive coverage, this lineup just provides the versatility that Minnesota needs if they're going to match the Lakers in crunch time. Maybe they're going to need to exploit a mismatch like Naz Reid does here as he forces Reeves to defend him with 4 shooters spread out around him, and late in games, having that bailout option to attack a switch in a 5-out concept is such a cheat code for this offense that's so used to having poor spacing with the regular starters. Like, you can see how much harder it is for Reid to take Gabe Vincent off the bounce when Gobert is stood in his driving lane, making it easy for another helper to come and affect the shot. They can even start both bigs high like this, running Naz Reid up off a down screen and right into a catch and shoot 3. And now it's not always just about profiting from that 5-out shooting. The biggest possession of this series so far came from Naz Reid rolling into this space created by that ultra-aggressive defense, and McDaniels ducking into the dunker spot at the same time, and Anthony Edwards doesn't make that pass to Gobert because Gobert hasn't shown he can make plays like Reid does there consistently, and they don't get that beautiful bucket if they don't have those 5 playmakers and 5 play finishers out there. Again, this death lineup just provides Minnesota with a bunch of versatility offensively that they otherwise don't have, and I really just don't think the Lakers have been able to handle it. Going into this series, it was supposed to be the other way. It was supposed to be LA's small ball laser lineup that decimated Minnesota's defense, and right now we're actually seeing that it's the opposite. But you don't get that 32-10 total score or that enormous net rating spike if they don't also provide something bankable defensively. And for Minnesota's death lineup, they've just switched everything, and that's proven to be highly effective so far. Minnesota have found it way more difficult to switch one ball screen and then stay with Luta and send another body at him to push him to the sideline and then still recover back to the screener if they have Rudy Gobert and Mike Conley out there, and again they have someone in the gaps on LeBron and they can still be able to recover back to get a contest up on that shot. With Conley's size deficiencies and Gobert's hit and miss defending on switches, it's just not as easy to execute that with them out there in this series. Even if it's just a basic screen and switch situation, I think Minnesota is more comfortable with Naz Reid on this island than Gobert, and they're getting enough rebounding with Julius Randle and Jaden McDaniels to justify that decision. Now, I think Gobert has got an unfair reputation on his ability to defend switches and cross matches, but they're asking Naz Reid to sit in a stance on Luka's dance floor, then drop in as a help defender on the flyby, and still have the agility to get back out and run Luka off the line and force him to give the ball up in these huge moments. They need this smaller and faster lineup to execute those kind of defensive possessions. And we've been seeing Minnesota just nail that execution in these switching schemes consistently in these past 2 games. This lineup allows them to shift from a drop coverage defense that has some obvious weak points to a 5-man Swiss Army knife that forces the Lakers to make tougher decisions and make tougher shots, and that's driving these late game wins just as much as their spread floor offensive looks have. Even at 3-1 in this series, we know that nothing is guaranteed, but Minnesota have found a number of things that the Lakers seemingly can't handle, and this death lineup is right at the top of that list. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to become a House and Grail supporter, you can become a member in the links below. If not, you can always like this video or subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. Thanks again for watching.